Let's cross to Ramzy Baroud, who is the editor of the Palestine Chronicle. He joins us now live from Seattle. Hi, Ramzy. We just heard Riyad Mansour speaking there, and also Palestinian chief negotiator Saeb Erekat called this a day of victory for Palestinians. Do you see it that way, or will this be another UN effort that Israel will ignore?
Or rather, a compromise term perhaps is a symbolic victory or another symbolic victory achieved by the Palestinian leadership. That doesn't or should not take away from the fact that this is an important resolution in a sense. And I think if it proves anything, it really proves that the main obstacle to pressuring Israel to respect international law thus far has been the United States. And when the US abstained from the vote, we see once more, after 8 years, we see the international community once more united in its support of Palestinians and of its condemnations of Israel and Israel's violations of international law in the West Bank and Jerusalem. The main factor, the main issue that has made this difference is the fact that the United States has abstained. So I feel like if there is any important lesson we need to take away from this, is that the US is by no means an honest broker in the peace process. If anything, the US is the main obstacle before any serious peace to be wrought to Palestine and Israel.
Okay, then how concerned are you with the Trump administration set to take power, with people very close to Trump also very closely aligned with Netanyahu's interests?
Frankly, not terribly concerned. And I know this may sound rather odd. Not terribly concerned because the US administration, particularly under George W. Bush, and then under the 8 years of Obama's administration, have been absolutely in support of the state of Israel. Obama in particular has been the most generous of all presidents financially in terms of military support, the most generous of Israel. So if we are going to see yet another president who's telling Israel that they will even be more ardent supporters of Israel, we might see some changes in terms of language, in terms of rhetoric. I don't really see any fundamental difference in terms of practice, because it can't possibly get any worse considering the previous administrations and their absolute unconditional support of Israel.
You know, Ramzy, though, as you can hail a symbolic victory, but really, is this worth anything if nothing will actually be implemented on the ground?
No, of course not. And that's the sad reality. This is not a new phenomenon. Obama in particular is not responsible for it either. It's been going on for a long time, where the United Nations, the General Assembly, the Security Council, the various courts and the various international institutions are very clear in terms of language, in terms of text, in terms of the understanding and interpretation of the law regarding Israel, its occupation, its practices, the illegal settlements, and so on and so forth. But whenever it comes to practical implementations, you have the United States and other Western allies of Israel always standing in the way, saying absolutely not. It will not happen. It may apply to other countries, but it never applies to Israel. So without any practical implementation to make these resolutions a reality, I don't think this resolution will make any particular difference.
Okay. Ramzy Baroud, I'd like to thank you so much for joining us there.